Here's comparison of the 71, which was to take the place of the 1895 Winchester, and the 1895. As you can see, the bolt on the 86 or 71, which is basically an 86, just was somewhat more modern things like a coil spring instead of a flat spring. You see how it uses, see, it comes out like this so it can use that, it can get that lever, because that lever is sticking right here, and as it goes like this, then it goes up in there, it can push further forward. You can push a lot further forward on it, but it's using the pivot point way out here, and that's how almost all Winchesters do, so they can get more leverage to start with, because you got that little bit of camming action to get it started, and then that lever pops way out like that. Well, this is even more so, because you can tell the trigger and everything pops down. That's how it gets a fairly short action. And you see how this right here, that breaks to release the, it unhooks right here to release the lever so that you can open the action. See, this is the hook that this hooks on into. And this is the locking lever. Let's see if you can get in here and see how this thing actually works. I mean, it fits in there pretty good. It comes open like this. Everything drops down. I mean, it's really getting that. See, that bolt is really long. See, this is where it actually blocks it right here at the back. But I mean, you see that thing is coming way back here. This completely stops against the locking lugs. It clicks in there solid. 405. It looks identical on each side. Since there's no loading gate. Well, let's look at how this one works. See, this locking is quite similar. It pops out. You see how it cocks the hammer like that? But now the trigger doesn't go anywhere on the 86. But on the 1895 it does. It goes right there, comes down. I mean, they're using the pivot point is way down here at this point in order to get this bolt to move as far as it does, because that's a really long action. I mean, you think about it, that bolt's moving almost all the way out of the gun. You see it only lacks a little bit of not being all the way out of the gun. And this barrel is the biggest probably on any traditional lever action. So obviously it's not cut flat on the bottom, so that's gonna really, and see how wide that thing is? That is a really wide receiver. Let's see if we can compare it to the 86. See, it's a lot. It's quite a bit wider. And what they did when they added this scallop receiver, basically this is the thickness that the gun would have been, maybe a slightly thicker, but they added a lot more meat right here to hold the pressure between the barrel and the locking lug, which is all the way at the back. Let's see if I can give you a good view of that locking lug popping down. But anyhow, the safety bolt, I think it's on the opposite direction. You can see it moving down in there. It blocks that hammer from being able to come up any further. And then on the 71, it's on the opposite side. Really, really nice rifles. But see, this barrel here compared to this barrel, I mean, it's got a lot more thickness to it. Beautiful gun. Beautiful gun. Just want to do a comparison because this 71 right here is what they brought out when they dropped this gun, because they figure the 348 cartridge was as good as any of these cartridges for some dumb reason, and it wasn't. I sure am glad Winchester come back out with it, and we'll try to make some more videos on it. Just kind of give you a general idea of the differences and what happened to it. There's the gun with their perspective cartridges, the 71 with its 348 cartridge, the 1895 with its 405 cartridge. Now the 1895, the difference is it actually comes in a lot of calibers. It comes in a slew of calibers, and this 71 only come in 348. Now this 348 cartridge, when it come out, was supposed to take the place of this. Like I said, that was kind of stupid on Winchester's part. They should have just kept the guns running. But, during the war and all, things, didn't quite work out that way. So, but you can see there's a lot of difference in cartridge overall lengths. The power, the 348's probably a longer range cartridge, but the 95 also come in. The 95 also come in 35 Winchester, which probably would have been about the same as the 348. Let's look at the back of them. You can see the 348 is obviously a lot bigger, bulkier cartridge. They probably both hold about the same amount of powder. Try to load this where you can see what I'm doing. You poke the shell in there like that, you turn it. Well, you got to make sure you get it under the groove. Now, like I said, it's not my gun, so I'm not used to it. I will, however, get me one day. All right. I'll blow this banana plant up tree thing. Make sure we pick up these shells. I'm going to send one into the sheetrock. All right. 405 Winchester. Let's see what we did. Carnage. So it went through some of them, blew them to pieces. This is what you need to know if you're in a jungle and you're hiding behind banana plants and somebody's shooting at you with a 405. It stopped in that one. We're going to dig it out and see what it looks like. Alright, there she is. Look at that. Now the first two we shot, this is all we found of the inside of the, this is all we found of the first two we shot. Is in here. I mean, they have quite a bit of power. They penetrate pretty good. That's a really awesome gun. So now we found them all out of the banana plant. They penetrated quite a bit, did a lot of damage, but I guess banana plant's pretty tough.